Monday night, I seen the animated film adaptation of what I regard as being one of the best comic books, Batman comic books, which is Batman: The Killing Joke. And I'm not sure if any one of you have, whoever watches this video, have read this comic book, but I would highly recommend it. It's really, really good. It's quite a quick read. It's not that long. So before going into this, I kind of did wonder how this was going to be turned into what I think was a 70-minute animated film. But yeah, I was really, really, really excited to see it. And View, I believe it was the only cinema chain in the UK that was showing this movie on Monday night. And I was really looking forward to it because I really like the comic book. Okay, I'm going to start off with one of the biggest positives about Batman: The Killing Joke, and that is the voice talent. Without no doubt, it was expected that the voice talent would be amazing, as usual. You know, when you've got the likes of Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill reprising their roles as Batman and the Joker, and they were great. Mark Hamill still sounds his very kind of, manic, insane sounding self, and he was just spot on as usual. I had no doubt that Mark Hamill was going to to give us a very, very great performance of the Joker when it came to the voice. But and you also had Kevin Conroy, flawless. I think whenever I think about Batman and how Batman would sound, it's always his voice that comes to my head first. Not Michael Keaton's, not Val Kilmer, not Christian Bale. It would always be Kevin Conroy's voice first. I was a little bit disappointed with the animation in the film. I'm not sure if it was because this was initially, or was originally going to be a straight to DVD and a Blu-ray release. I think it was only last minute that they decided to show it in theatres or cinemas. And but on the big screen, there were parts of this film that just didn't quite look right or didn't quite work, and it made me kind of go, oh, a little bit. But there were moments in it when the animation was really, really good. But I think there were a lot more moments in this film where the animation was actually questionable. Whatever that be, was because it was on the big screen or not, I don't know. But it didn't really blow me away, the animation. Right, biggest complaint that I have for this film was the prologue, you could call it, or the first, I think it must have been 20 to 30 minutes of this film, which is not in the comic book, and it was added. I suppose they could have added something to what the Killing Joke is. I mean, at the end of the day, the Killing Joke is a sort of exploration into the kind of the deep and the darkest part of our mind, of insanity. And that's what the Killing Joke was, for me anyway, it was all about, was, kind of that insanity, questioning that sanity and exploring that insanity. And it was really, really deep into that kind of dark side of the mind. And by adding this first, 20 to 30 minutes, I suppose they could have added more to it, but they failed on that, and it was just not needed. I was sitting there watching it, and I was thinking, this has nothing to do with the Killing Joke. The first 20 minutes of this film has nothing to do with what the Killing Joke is all about. What that first, 20 minutes did do was just add more of a relationship between Batman and Batgirl, and as interesting as that could have been, we were watching the animated adaptation of the Killing Joke, and it didn't really have nothing to do with it. And there were moments in the first 20 minutes which I just found, when it came to the animation and the artistic sort of direction, I just thought it was very lazy. There were certain moments that I just thought was quite lazy and questionable shots. I did not quite understand some of the certain shots which lingered on certain aspects of Batgirl, and certain moments I just didn't understand it. There's a part at the beginning, there's a chase, and the animation quickly flips to, well, I think, I'm not actually 100% certain, but to me it always looks like as if it's CGI slightly takes over, CGI animation, and it's when this is race on the streets, a chase, sorry, on the streets, and these vehicles, all of a sudden it's like an animated CGI sort of effect sort of thing, and I never like that, because it's like, it's almost as if it's gone from hand drawn to computer, and for me, I've never liked that. I think it's kind of lazy, and they do that a lot these days in animated films like this. I'm just not a big fan of that. I'm not sure if anyone knows what I mean. Like, I don't fully understand how they do it and what the effect is, but to me it looks like CGI in those sort of kind of high chase sort of moments. But yeah, I've never liked it. So then we eventually get to what is the first couple of frames of the Killing Joke. When you finally get to those first couple of frames of the Killing Joke, that's when everyone, well, especially me, kind of breathed a sigh of relief, because we were in the territory of the Killing Joke, and it was just really, really, really nice to see those frames from this particular comic book up on the big screen, and I did have a big smile for most of the duration of the actual story of the Killing Joke. It's pretty good. I think there were a few things they changed slightly. Obviously it's a different medium, so when you're doing it from a comic book to a film, you've got to change things slightly. It was good. I liked it and I did enjoy it. But personally, I think the comic book is so much better. I really, really do think the comic book is a lot better, and I think they played it a little bit too safe in the film on certain moments, and I think they just could have gone a bit more edgy. I think perhaps that's just me, but that's how I felt. But also the soundtrack in this film, the musical score, which at our showing, I'm not sure. I'm guessing it was everywhere. But we had a documentary at the end of this which went into the making of the music, and I actually stayed for that, because I really, really liked the music in it as well, and the music was spot on. And I suppose the only real two positives I could take from this film was the soundtrack and the voice talent, and the fact that we did have obviously the Killing Joke in it, but that was like kind of sandwiched, you could say, in between this kind of needless, pointless prologue and a very, very kind of like, I think it must have been only about 2-3 minutes at the end, and then you have the Killing Joke in the middle, and that was the best part about it. But overall I enjoyed it, but it wasn't what I was expecting. It's not perfect, and it's no Mask of the Phantasm, and I wouldn't go as far as saying it's up there with the Dark Knight Returns, even the adaptations of those comic books by Frank Miller. One of my favourite moments actually in it was when it actually goes into the Killing Joke part of the story, and that's when Batman goes to Arkham Asylum to see the Joker, and I loved the art direction and the look of that scene, and the look of the Joker when he's in the shadow. I think for me that was when I was most impressed really by the animation. But at the end of the day, they had the potential of what was a very kind of quick story, but a very dark and deep story, and they could have developed that more in the film. And that's, I think, when you adapt stories like this into a film, that's when you've got that chance and the potential to kind of flesh it out even more. But they didn't. They just had a pointless 20-minute prologue. It just didn't work, and I think they could have done so much with the actual story of the Killing Joke itself, and kind of taken this story and just expanded it, and they could have explored even more into this sort of insanity of the Joker and Batman himself, and they just didn't do that. They didn't use that chance. But overall, I did enjoy it. It was nice to see it on the big screen. I didn't think I'd ever actually see a Batman animated film on the big screen before, so it was nice. And it was nice to be among like-minded fans as well of Batman. I mean, the cinema that I went to was almost full. I think it was almost soaked out, this particular showing that I went to. And that was kind of nice. And for me, there was a very kind of big contrast in quality, in writing in the film. Obviously you have the first 20 to 30 minutes of the prologue, which was just pointless, and it was just there was nothing, no sort of connection really to do with what the actual story of The Killing Joke was about. And then you have The Killing Joke, which, I know, you've got the writing talent of Alan Moore behind it, and so obviously the quality of, in comparison, when it came to the quality of the writing and the story, really, I mean, that kind of middle part, or I say it's also the middle end part, which is The Killing Joke, just kind of obviously really stood out, but then it made that kind of first 20-30 minutes just a bit too obvious, and it was just really weak, and it was a very big comparison between the two parts, like. So yeah, overall I enjoyed it, but there was so much more potential there that they just failed to kind of use. It could have been a lot more than what it was, but I would say read the comic first if you haven't, before you see the film, or before you go and get it on Blu-ray or DVD. Do read the comic first. I highly recommend it. I will be giving Batman The Killing Joke a C. Thank you everyone for watching, and if you like what you see, hit subscribe, and please feel free to leave a comment. My next review for this week will be Star Trek Beyond, a film that I wish I'd seen last week. I wanted to see it at the midnight showing, but I didn't get a chance to because it's down to work. But I am seeing it, what day are we? Wednesday. So I'm seeing it tomorrow night, and hopefully I'll have a review up late Friday evening or Saturday morning for that. There are unboxings on the way. I've got the box of horrors on its way, and cool boxes. These are new boxes for me. I've just signed up to them. So yeah, I got them coming up, and yeah, I just really appreciate everyone who watches my video, and thank you so much. If anyone kind of disagreed or agreed with what I said, my views on the Batman The Killing Joke, please feel free to leave a comment and start a discussion. And I obviously I will try to reply, but it's one thing I kind of want to stress is I'm doing this because I have a passion for film, and I don't regard myself as a movie critic. Really, I love film. I'm not actually doing this to sort of kind of get my name out there to be known as a movie film critic. I'm just someone who has a massive passion for films in general. It's something that I want to do, which is filmmaking. I have studied filmmaking, and but yeah, this is something that I really like talking about, and what I kind of view the Batman The Killing Joke is my own personal views and opinions. But it'd be nice to know what you guys all think that watch my my video and come on to my channel. So yeah, again, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will be seeing all you guys soon.